am working on some fan art. So I decided that I was going to do some fan art for Breath of the Wild. So I don't know if anyone else has been checking in on what's going on with Breath of the Wild mods, but I really enjoy the Zelda Gerudo outfit, and this really inspired me that I wanted to do something with Link and Zelda both in this outfit. And I haven't done any full body art in a while. So I wanted to do something a little bit more completed, and fan art sometimes can really intimidate me because you really have to get all of those details right. And I don't know if other people pay attention to the details in the fan art as much as I think they do, but I don't want to be inaccurate with something. So even in this, it's like I do the line art one way, and then I'm looking at the picture a while later, like when I'm doing the colors or something, and I realize I've done something wrong and I need to go back. The biggest one I think in this was that I thought he was wearing like rope bracelet kind of things when I first saw the image, but then when I looked at it later on, I noticed that they were actually more like gold pieces, so I had to change that, and just being willing to keep going back and fix things that I noticed because I don't notice every detail on the first go. So I wanted to talk about kind of some of the formatting of the videos and how I've been doing it and how I kind of want to change it or maybe get opinions on. So first, I am kind of debating how I want to do these openings to these videos. I currently have it just set up where it's a 10-second intro and then about 20 seconds of just SpeedPaint for a little while and then some voiceovers. I'm thinking about changing the intro so that it is more cohesive. Maybe it always has the same song at the beginning or the same graphic or whatever, so that it's a little bit more consistent from video to video. It currently has some consistency, but I think I could do better with it, and then that way it just fits and I don't have to think about it every time too. Because sometimes I think my intros are stronger in one video than another, and then it just makes me a little bit sad when I have one that I don't really enjoy. It's kind of in this video, I'm not a huge fan of it, but I think it kind of fits with the music. But if I had it more consistent with the same music every time, I wouldn't need to change it, and I could make it better, make it more superior once, and use that consistently. The other thing I wanted to point out is that most of the time I don't include my sketches. If you notice in this one, I went straight into line art. I have already done my sketch and I choose not to show those a lot of times in the video. Sometimes I will, but I choose not to show them, usually because that is my, I want to say one of my most stressful periods because I'm still trying to figure everything out, and oh my goodness, you do not want to see how much I struggle with anatomy. I know it's still kind of evident other places, but in that moment when I'm doing the sketching, I need to not feel stressed about worrying about what it looks like. I need to be able to just get the thoughts out and keep working on it, and it's not necessarily a consistent process, and it works better when I don't have to worry about recording it or including it. With that kind of out of the way, I wanted to talk more about this piece. So first, this one's a little bit different for me just because I did actually do some kind of environment, and it has more of a composition than I feel like I usually do. Usually I tend to just center a piece, do the white outlines. You might notice at some point that I did actually include the white outline, the stroke around them, but I actually decided that they looked better without them, which, that might be progress. So I keep changing the background with this one. I originally had palm trees. Well, actually, originally I just had the grading in the background, and then I wanted to include something that was more to the area, so I include palm trees, but then I decided I didn't like the look so much, so I decided to focus more on the desert aspect, and because I had not set up my background beforehand, I don't know if anyone else is going to complain about this, but I kind of worry about the fact that my lighting is now really, really wrong because I decided to put the sun behind them. But I couldn't go back and fix it, or at least I didn't have the energy for it at this point. So I still like the look, but if I had thought that through earlier, it probably would have had some improvements. And I was also playing around a lot more with different coloring styles. Like, I always start with flats with just a hard round brush, and then a lot of times I will continue using that same brush that I did line art and flats with to do the shading. But that always makes it more rigid, and I really like that look. But I've been trying out this more painterly style, and I think I've started getting this little bit of a painterly style just because I've tried to do some more lineless art just to kind of practice and learn something new. And I like that look, but at the same time I really like the line art, and I think combining those two together a bit will actually make it look even better. I like gaining this repertoire of more skills and tools that can be used together and don't necessarily all need to be included into a piece, but allow for more versatility while still trying to develop a style. I don't want to lose my style in this, and while I'm still developing it, I don't want to end up with too many different styles. I want to focus on one and refining it. But it makes it more powerful, it makes it more impactful if I can know what works better with each piece. And not just necessarily what works better in each piece, but what is making me excited right now, what is making me invested in a piece. Because I worked pretty solidly on this piece for a few days, and I never felt like I was burning out. Now, you'll probably notice this because it's a time lapse, and you can see it because of all the quick jittery movements, but I do move around a piece a lot. My order tends to be that it goes line art, flats, basic shading, just putting in where I think, giving some kind of idea of form, and then going in and refining. And even when I'm doing each of those steps, oh my goodness, I'm jumping around so much because I find that if I focus too much on one area, either I struggle with keeping it in perspective, kind of, and I just have to move around so that I don't get stuck. And I think in this, I just did well with going through and making sure that I was adjusting and learning from it and being willing to change things, and it made it easier to work on it and feel like this was something that I was being successful with. So overall, I really enjoyed working on this, and I hope that other people enjoyed watching it. This is a longer video. I have said before that I try to keep videos around 10 minutes, but when I stuck this into Premiere, total recorded footage, I had about 10 hours, so I really had to speed it up a lot so that it's not losing a ton of content. I cut out all the excess stuff, and I ended up speeding the video to 4,000% this time, which is more than I usually do, and it's still 5 minutes over. But I really did enjoy this one, and I felt like I didn't really want to cut anything out. Well, in the future, I do want to try different editing styles, and thinking about maybe I can have a little bit of time skips to kind of bring that time down and keep it interesting, because I know not every part of the drawing is necessarily interesting from a viewer standpoint, but this time around, this is the way that I felt like I really wanted to do justice to this, so I just left it simple, sped up. I hope no one minds. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in a couple minutes. social media linked here. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and I will see you next time.